between these two. Of course, a lot of pressure here on Adroit to really try and pull off this victory. Geek Fam, 1 game ahead. Love to get a 2-0 victory up against Adroit and proceed through the low. Winner of this is going to be up against Boom Esports. So no matter who wins this, it is going to be a pretty hard matchup waiting for them across the next bracket. But we don't think about that for now. Right? You've just got to get through this series first, because the loser does get knocked out.
Yeah, it's a situation for Adroit where they are up against the wall, 1 game behind. They need to win game number 2. And Geek Fam, well, they have a lot more leeway now, but you'd still want to just, and again, their draft is just looking really solid. Something we didn't point out, they're actually going with Carl mid on the Pugna to counteract that Quap matchup.
I don't mind that. Pugna mid can be very, very infuriating to play against, because you will have the Zephyr clockwork, and we always talk about the POS 3 clockwork not being the greatest POS 3. Like, we always talk about how it should probably just be played as a position 4. And so it does make me happy to see that Geek Fam aren't giving that much priority over to the clockwork, who can do everything without really requiring that amount of farm priority.
Yeah, it's gonna be something else to watch out for, I think, is his lane partnership with level 1 battery assault. You do have some potential. I think you would have to wait for level 3 on Cuckoo if he's going to stay up top. You don't tend to invest in early pits of malice.
The battle begins.
Looks like it might be a 2-for-2 battery and trade. Booming gets a nice fish drop, which is going to help Bok chase down Whiteman a bit more, but he'll be fine. Let's get out of there. Bok actually takes a fair bit of damage himself and actually is forced to go for the overwhelming odds at level 1. Not exactly your most preferred skill at level 1 as an LC, but that's what he's going to be dealing with.
I think that's fine. It gives you a lot more damage potential in that lane. It is fairly costly, so you will have to think twice about using it every single time, but it does allow you to shove out a wave, apply some damage on Whitemon and Raven, and that should just make these initial levels for Raven just a bit, well, not too much more challenging. It's still an Ember Spirit. It's still going to be able to hold its own by the time you hit level 2 even, in this case.
No.
Of course, mid lane, you do see Mac up against Carl once again. Mac finding himself with a nice little advantage earlier. Carl should be able to catch up a little bit with these creeps underneath his tower. He actually did end up going for the level 1 Nether Ward as well, so just really wanting to make it a little bit more challenging for the Mac Queen of Pain, but we are going to have a very early rotation here from Boomy. Carl is about half HP right now. Does drop the Nether Ward, but that's definitely not going to save his life if they do make the jump. Mac may just ask to wait for level 3, though no. The Fisher doesn't connect, and Boomy doesn't get the block off. Carl is sticking around though. Carl, you need to get out of there. He will just wait out the Fisher. Boomy does give him quite a bit of harass. Carl, at least he does have 2 tangos remaining, so it should be okay.
Yeah, just a bit of time wasted for Boomy. He would have loved to see that kill. You did invest in early boots of speed on that Shaker just to get these rotations out, so just missing out on that will hurt you a bit. This is something that Boomy always kind of does though, just early rotations to try to build up for himself on a very active POS 4.
We haven't seen any rotations yet from Zephyr, but that's mostly because he's at level 1. I suppose that's the real difference here between an Earthshaker POS 4 and a Clockwork Boomy. Again, not the greatest Fisher.
Going to be good.
Carl, although it is still making him lose quite a bit of CS here to Matt, the fact that he isn't dying is pretty big. Like, as a Pugna, you don't really care too much about gold, more so than you do XP. Pugna's really effective without the gold anyway. Like, he just needs levels.
For sure. It's like he's still finding what he wants, even if he's not finding his last hits. Should be able to apply some pressure on that tier 1 soon. Does have a level advantage over Mac, even if it's just a bit. So he's got himself pretty nicely set up, and Mac actually just drops very low from exchange.
Fine. Carl, he wants this. We saw this last game. He did die doing this. Never blast gonna miss, and yeah, he's dead. Screen comes in though, no. Nice D aggro on the tier 1. He gets the kill!
Oh, Carl.
Oh, that was really nice by Carl. Like, I thought we were gonna have a repeat of game 1 where he died as the Leonards lead the mid tier 1 tower. But the D aggro was real quick as the creep wave was running in. And the one to misplay it is apparently Mac on the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, just a lot more going the way of Carl. He even forces out the rotation from CML, so he is wasting a bit of time there. Down mid, does find Zephyr to trade blows with, but I think Zephyr's going to be fine with popping that battery assault to get some damage on.
Kind of intrigued that Zephyr went for the rocket flare at level 1, to be honest with you. Usually using the cogs, it's usually quite effective on a roaming rocket. Having those level 2 cogs up, or cogs up at level 2, but does opt to try for the rocket flare instead.
I think that might have been down to the fact that they weren't sure if they were going to find that Mac kill, so they had a rocket on standby in case he was around that area. With 80 damage, that might have been enough to clean up. He was fairly low.
It does make him suffer a little bit in this safe lane of the Dire though, right? Because right now, if you had cogs, that would have been a kill. It may still be one. No, getting chased down, he does get it.
Still makes it work.
Even with trying to just force Natsumi not to get last hits, like that cogs pushback when he does go in for a CS is also very, very nice to have, but apparently Zephyr doesn't need it.
Yeah, he's just making it work as is. I think that's perfectly fine. He will have it by the time he hits level 4 for sure. And he's just about halfway, so the EXP progression for our clock is definitely up there. You compare that to Boomy's progression, he's at level 2 as well, but much further behind from that level 3 turning point. It's not good progression. He has been investing a lot of time down mid to no real success, and this is going to be a constant issue for Adroit. They're not finding the XP they need on Boomy's playmaking hero. They're not really winning out on pretty much most of their lanes. The only one that's going fine is that top lane, but Cuckoo with his Firestorm should be able to just maintain some farm parity there.
3 hero rotation on the one. He does go down. Bot will claim the kill. They didn't have Jewel available. I thought perhaps they're making this early rotation to get some nice Jewel damage in. But it wasn't the case, and now Zephyr gonna chase down Boomy a little bit, but CML is gonna be there to help. Zephyr will just gladly walk out free. What a priority there to kill the Coddle. I don't really think they'll mind losing the Coddle like that. Wyman, he'll just run his way back.
I think it's down to the fact that Adroit does feel some pressure to find these early kills. Like, you have Boomy and the Shaker. He has been walking around the map. They do want to find something, and they finally did. But again, it's not a high priority kill. White One doesn't really care too much, and the side lanes are still going okay for Geek Fam. Like, that top lane is probably the best lane for Adroit. Even then, Cuckoo's just kind of maintaining it with that Lycan anyway. So it's fairly even, all things considered.
We do have a disconnect from Whiteman. He'll be back pretty soon, I'm sure. Apart from that, all props to the Ember. Raven having a great old time. 42 last hits, 13 denies. Closely followed by the Queen of Pain, Mac at 34 and 6. And of course, you do have Carl there on the Pugner at 33 and 7. The one outlier right now is Natsumi, who's really fallen behind the Ember. 32 and 7 on the Lycan. And of course, it's going to be due to the fact that he is up against an Underlord, and Cuckoo with a trophy aura is just, I mean, it's just such an obnoxious ability to have. It's so impossible to last hit up against an Underlord with that aura up. And looks like he may just commit to going to the jungle for a bit as that Lycan. That is something you can do, to be fair. We are approaching that 7.5 minute mark, so neutrals are going to start dropping. Neutral items are going to start dropping very soon.